Unanswered prayers. Have you ever sent a prayer up to the universe, asked God for assistance, and you think your prayer was unanswered? God answers our prayers in so many ways. The universe is always rearranging things to accommodate us. But how does that really work when we feel like we have no answer? I have people tell me they've been praying for things for years. Sometimes no answer is the answer. It means wait. Something's being orchestrated that's better for you. There are dreams that are meant to happen for you, but it's not the right time. It's that you're asking for something that is really not as good as you imagine. So the universe is preparing a different version and thus sparing you your choices. You see, there's a plan according to the divine. And we have within that scope of the plan our ability to decorate and create a life that we desire. But in our ability to create the life that we desire, we learn to ask and desire things based on what we think would be good, based on what we believe we want. And sometimes in the conditioned self, in the conditioned way of our personality, we've come to want things that in the end aren't beneficial for us, don't allow us to feel free and happy, because they are really just more complicated and difficult after we get them. Let's take that relationship that you were praying for. And as you prayed for that relationship, you wanted something that came. But then you realize, oh my goodness, it's a trap. It's just like the last relationship. You see, it was your part of your being, your personality, your wounded self, that was asking and wanting something so that you didn't have to be alone, so you didn't have to feel the fear of being alone and learning how to work on self. And you felt that the other relationship didn't work out and you just wanted to be happy, and you had given your power away that someone else would make you happy. No one person makes you happy. No one activity really makes you happy. It's an experience that you enjoy. You enjoy a person. But they don't have the power to make you happy or make you unhappy. They create energy that is comfortable for us and harmonizing, or it is triggering and destructive, depending on the relationship that you've picked. And then there are things we want that are seemingly intangible. The big things, the ability to have more money than we do, the great house, the house on the beach. They're seemingly intangible because there's a part of us that doesn't seem to believe that we deserve that house or that's possible. I'm blessed to sit across from people often that they say, I really feel like one day I'm going to win the lottery. And I say, really? Then you must feel that in your soul. And usually their answer is absolutely. Absolutely, I feel that I'm going to win the lottery. And so I laugh and I say, then you're going to win the lottery because you feel it. But the hiccup in the process for many of us is that we may think we're going to win the lottery. We may aspire to win the lottery. Heck, we may even play to win the lottery. But do we really believe we're going to win the lottery? When we're playing that ticket, do you believe you're going to win? And then when you didn't win that time, do you get all bent out of shape and be like, oh man, this lottery thing, I'm not going to win? And feel disappointed? Or do you say, I put my energy forth. This time it didn't connect, but I know next time it will. Often we set our intentions, but they have so many conditions and rules and regulations around the accomplishment that we squeeze out the possibilities, making them minute to happen. Because we don't give ourselves room to grow into our thoughts and our feelings, and to expand, to think better, high vibrational thoughts, to imagine feeling a joy as if it was done already. And they can see themselves walking on the stage, getting the diploma. Many actors and actresses, they see themselves up on the stage, receiving an award. Many people who have stepped into the energy of creation have already seen the vision of it accomplished before it actually happens. That's much of what the law of attraction is all about. But what about those prayers that seem to go unanswered? The reunions with a lost love, the feeling of fixing a miscommunication among family that never really works out, the inability to feel fully healed physically. What about the desire to move to a location because we think it's the perfect place, but we never seem to get there? What stops us from these things? Some things is our inability to line things up in the physical and back them up in the emotional and spiritual vision. But many times it's the divine intervening on our behalf, not to punish us. We've thought of the divine sometimes as a punishing God that doesn't let us have what we want because we're doing some kind of penance. What is it that you want? And I'll say, well, I need to sit with it for a while. And someone would say, well, you don't know what you want? And I said, well, I know what I want, but is what I want for my best and highest good at this moment? That's where the pause comes. Now, that doesn't mean if I'm out somewhere and someone says, do you want lobster or some other piece of food, I wouldn't be able to pick between the two and say, let me check with spirit. Should I have lobster? I'm not going to say that. But there are things in life that we know are important in the choices we make. And sometimes even when we find ourselves in a jam, have you ever found yourself in a jam? I sit across from a lot of people who are stuck, and I don't mean in blueberry jam. I mean they made themselves in a jam and they don't know how to get out of it. So sometimes while we're in a spot, a difficult spot, we have to maneuver within the spot. Even though we're praying for God to take us out of the mess we've made, fine mess you've got yourself into. And yes, sometimes things just open up and things change. But oftentimes we have to make a series of maneuvers so that while we're finding a better way to make something palatable or easier in a difficult spot, the universe is lining up a new place to live for us, or they're helping us get the right people on our side to help us out of a difficult relationship, or preparing a new job role in a company that would be ideal for us, but we don't know that, and we think God isn't answering our prayer, and we are asking to get out of the job, and we're sending 1,000,000 resumes, and nobody's answering. But there's a job for you. It just hasn't come yet. And maybe if you had checked in and plugged in and waited and did the pause before making a decision, what would happen? You wouldn't have been at the job you're in, so you wouldn't have been in the tough spot. You wouldn't have been in that difficult relationship because you took the time to pause and say, is this for my highest good? Is this my higher self choosing? Or is this something caught up in my personality just because I want what I want? And we don't pause and check in. We often check in after there's a mess. I had a call today. Been a long-standing client. And she had made a move. She had quit her job and she went to work with someone that she's dating. And earlier in a previous reading, we had discussed the person she was dating, but something's not solid about the person. And I expressed that to her, but I say, listen, you're enjoying each other's company, continue on the path, and just see what's there. Well, apparently she quit her job. She's working for the person. And she calls me after the fact today. And she's asking questions about the relationship. She's asking questions about the person. She's asking questions about work. And essentially, he's not already living up to the promises of what he'd said he would pay her for work. And so she's already behind because she's getting paid less. Not behind in bills, but she's already not in a good spot. And the relationship is not living up to all the promises, but she's trying to decide if she should wait it out. And there's a part of the higher self that when they're guiding and we're not getting sucked into a trap or reacting just because it's emotional and, oh, I like this person, so if I help them, they'll love me more. Or if I'm with them, then of course we'll have a relationship because we're working together. There's this dynamic of things that goes on in our minds and in our feelings. That's hard to articulate because it's unique unto each person. So my thought is, before you make that move, if you're seeking counsel, wouldn't you have wanted to call SarahSpiritual before you made the move and left your job? Wouldn't you have wanted to sit and be still and meditate and really ask yourself and notice the red flags and decide if they're worth the chance with your livelihood? Now, this is not a critical statement. This is just how we work as humans. You've done it. I've done it. We've all done it. And so the lesson here is to sit and be still. There's a line that says, be of courage and know that I am God. Another line, wait upon the Lord. Wait upon God. God helps people. The universe helps people. The angels help people. The divine, the creator, mother, father, God, however you want to refer to a divine power. And that power is the power that will guide you every step of the way. And so when we find ourselves in a position of a story or a circumstance that's unappealing to us, sometimes it's not that the prayer is going unanswered. It's just things have to recalculate to bring us to something different, to something better. And there isn't a quick fix to that because everything has its timeline. And this too shall pass. There are things that we will go through that will be uncomfortable. And is it that the divine, the universe wants us to suffer? No. Is much of mankind suffering at its own direction? Yes. Is there a way to ask for assistance to remove us from conflict and hurt and pain? Absolutely. But a way to avoid it is to ask, is this for my highest good? Is this something through the eyes of the divine that I see? Is this something that is for the highest good of all parties? And we ask. And we have to check our feelings. Now, we have two different feelings. There's your emotional feelings. Sometimes they can be influenced by fears and emotions of elation and happiness that are really just temporary, almost euphoric, almost like a drug. And then there's the feeling of contentment and peace, or that sick, something's going to go wrong feeling in your stomach. And again, I think we've all experienced those feelings. Being in love can elicit this euphoric feeling. Feeling a sense of danger or being afraid when you're on a dark street and you're not sure if someone's following you, and you get that weird feeling over your body and you know you have to move quickly and you might not be safe, but you're not sure. That uncertainty, that fight or flight feeling in the pit of your stomach. That's a feeling that we know and we recognize. So there are feelings that come from the divine that when we sit and we're still, God essentially is answering the prayers. And most of prayer's answers are, you're going to have to wait. Or you're going to have to allow this to pass. Or you picked it, sorry, but we won't put you on a never-ending hold. We're just going to suggest that you fasten your seatbelt, and when you're going through the rough part, know that we're mitigating the damage of wherever you're at in your free will choice, and as soon as the angels can yank you out, we've got you. But we need it immediately. And then there are those prayers, there are those moments, those near misses, those possibilities of death or an accident, where you're asking for assistance. And you're really praying that God can save you because the car's spinning around and you don't know what's about to happen. You don't know if you're going to hit another car, if you're going to hit a sidewall. You're not sure. And the next thing you know, as you come out of the spin, there's no one near you. The car is facing the right way, and to your great surprise, everything's fine. Not a scratch on you. You see, God answers those prayers. And those prayers seemingly are miracles. And they are. But that's the divine, the angels intervening at that moment for you. Because if something were to happen tragic, because of a misstep of another, it would take you off the path of destiny. Remember in the beginning, I did say that there's a big divine plan. And we get to orchestrate and decorate, but within the scope of the plan. And so we have assistance. We just have to learn to be patient. And God hears everything. Your angels hear everything. Your loved ones feel everything with you. And they're supporting you. Even those loved ones who, perhaps on earth, were not the most congenial, were not your best friend. They're in a higher realm. And they too are rooting for you and helping you and really working to be sure that all is well.